in opening, could you be a fair and impartial juror? I'm asking you right now to temper your justice with mercy by giving my client 15 years in this case. Thank you.
Whenever you're ready, you have about 21 minutes.
I'm sorry, what?
24 and a half minutes left.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. With your punishment verdict today, you will do two things. You will punish for this horrific crime, and you will protect our society.
Judge got improper closing.
That's overruled. That's overruled. That's one of the reasons. It's overruled.
You will punish and you will protect. As a prosecutor, we look at cases every single day, and we look at certain things when we're evaluating what the appropriate resolution or punishment is in a case. And I just want to share with you a few things that we often think about, and maybe they are the same things that will be helpful for you in guiding you in your deliberations. And those things are the offense itself, whether or not the defendant has any prior criminal history, whether they are a future danger, and we also look at mitigation. Is there some reason to give the defendant less punishment in a case? Because we certainly want to be considerate of that. And so I want to talk about those things and in this context and framework, and hopefully that will help guide you in your deliberations. The first thing is we look at this offense. This is irrational. It is a senseless act of violence. May 4th, 2024 started out as just a normal Saturday for Jeffrey Limmer. As he walked over to the McDonald's, he had given a hug to his neighbor who was leaving, moving out. He walked over to the McDonald's for what he thought was just going to be a dinner. And it turned into a horrific tragedy. And that tragedy started with this defendant berating employees over an order that he had received an hour and a half earlier that he had eaten. Just let that settle in for a moment. He's calling them he's cursing at them. He's using derogatory names towards them. He's using racial slurs at them.
Statement not in the evidence.
The jury will remember the evidence.
Thank you.
And this defendant wants to have the audacity to get up on this witness stand and try to tarnish the character and reputation of such a fine man by suggesting that he was being racist. But that's the kind of person that we're dealing with.
Not in the evidence. He didn't say he was racist.
The jury will remember the evidence.
And that's the kind of person that we're dealing with. A defendant who will lie and who will manipulate the truth to try to influence you. And Jeffrey Limmer stepped in that day, made the choice to be the hero for the little people and say, you're not going to act like that, and we are done with this. And because of that, it cost him his life. This situation is the reason, just as Keegan said, people in our society don't want to step up and intervene and help other people out because they're afraid. They're afraid of the consequences of them stepping in and trying to neutralize horrific situations. And this defendant made the decision to ambush. That's what this is. This is an ambush. Jeffrey Limmer as he was leaving McDonald's with his to-go order. And as we talked about on cross-examination, he made decision after decision when he took every single step to walk into the McDonald's, when he pulled every single trigger. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10. He made numerous decisions in his attack. And not only did he make horrific decisions against Jeffrey Limmer, but he had zero regard to the other people there in McDonald's, those other customers, those other employees. You know, he may have intended all of his bullets to go into Jeffrey Limmer, but bullets don't have names on them. There's a bullet in the hole. There's a bullet in the wall of the McDonald's. It could have easily killed somebody else. Thank God this is only one dead person over a fish sandwich. This is rage, unpredictable behavior over the simplest of things in life. There is no way for us to avoid this. We could never imagine, when you sat on this jury panel, you would never imagine that you would be here listening to a case of some man being killed over one patty on a sandwich. His past behavior also makes him dangerous. He has a criminal history that starts in the 90s, and it's continued all the way to today.
Objection, Your Honor. Improper statement of the facts. He didn't have another case until 2024.
We just looked at the facts.
His criminal history starts in 1999 with drugs, and then he escalates to stealing from people and conspiring in banks, and he goes to the state prison, and he goes to the federal prison. And then...
Objection, Your Honor. Improper statement. He never went to state prison. He went to federal prison only. It was ran CC, Your Honor. Misstatement of the facts.
You're an exclusive judge of the facts and what they prove. Thank you.
You have a judgment for federal prison and state prison. You can't be in two places at one time.
He went to federal prison, Your Honor. Misstatement of evidence.
It's overruled.
Okay. But not only does he have those acts, he has the February 2024 attack against his daughter. And you want to know why that's really significant? It's over the lights. To turn the lights on or to turn the lights off.
Misstatement of the evidence, Your Honor. The argument between his daughter and his wife.
You've had your chance to argue. We're not going to argue the facts over the prosecution.
Misstatement of the facts, Your Honor. That's all I'm saying.
He gets mad about whether or not we turn the lights on or off. And the result of that, be conversation or disagreement, is to beat her. Hear me. Beat her in the head and the back with a metal cane. That's how he resolves disputes and disagreements of a person that he loves. He didn't even know how many times he beat her in the head and the back. And he sent her to the hospital over whether or not we turn the lights on or off. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot wrap him in a bubble and make sure that he doesn't have to deal with everyday normal situations. Do we turn the lights on or off? Do I get my order wrong at the restaurant? He is unpredictable. And because he is unpredictable and irrational and he chooses to deal with his situations out of violence, he is so dangerous. There is no way to protect our society from him.
And properly close the argument can argue to a protection of society, Your Honor.
That's overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And so because of that, you have a duty and an obligation to protect our community from him.
If it's not improper closing, one of the things the prosecutor can do is a plea for law enforcement, a plea to protect the community. It is overruled. It is overruled. It's not a proper objection.
And so it is so important that when you go back and deliberate, you're thinking about the offense itself and you're punishing him for that. But in the same vein, you're thinking about protecting our community and our society from this defendant who we know has responses that are completely irrational and senseless over the most, quite frankly, stupid things. And then another thing you can look at is there any mitigation? You may be sitting there thinking to yourself, there must be some explanation for why he acts like this.
Objection, Your Honor. She can't go to the fact that he didn't, this is right not to testify, Your Honor. Is it proper punishment evidence?
I don't think she's commenting on the defense right to testify.
Thank you.
And so when you think about that, you don't have any evidence before you. You have zero evidence before you that there is any explanation for this behavior, and you don't invent it for him. There's not any evidence of any kind of mental health issue. There's not any evidence of any past trauma that it would explain this behavior. And we don't create it for him. You only view the evidence that you have before you. There is no mitigation for his conduct that day. And then on the flip side of that, let's say he had done some great things in this society. Maybe he had been an Eagle Scout. Maybe he had been some kind, compassionate person who had done things for other people in this world. You might have decided that that was mitigating and worth less punishment, but you don't have any evidence of that. He gets a big fat 0 for mitigation. There is nothing in this case that suggests that he deserves anything less. As you are sitting here today, you have two very different people before you. You have a defendant who is proven to be violent, aggressive, selfish. So very selfish. To steal the life of somebody over having the last word, over a bruised ego, and he's dangerous. But then on the other side, you have the complete opposite. You have Jeffrey Limmer, who is a kind, compassionate, and all around just good guy. He lost his life standing up for those who were mistreated. And doesn't that show just who he is at his core? This courtroom has been packed with friends and family members and co-workers from his entire life throughout this trial. These people have probably taken off work. They've been here supporting this family. And you know, when I think about that, like, it almost brings me to tears that I could only hope that if something tragic happened to me, that I would have this kind of support. That my life would mean something enough to people in this world that they would want to be here for me. And I just can't get over the overwhelming love that people have had for Jeff. And not just like people who knew him like here and there. I mean, these people have known him his whole life. They know so much about him. And I know that when we asked the family to pick pictures for y'all to see who he was, I think it was probably hard for them. Don't you know they had hundreds of pictures to pick from?
Objection,
And-
that's the evidence.
That's the same.
It's reasonable to think that people that love him this much have so many pictures to pick from. And when we were asking them to pick pictures, it's like, how do you pick? As if this is the only moment in time that mattered. These pictures, how do we encapsulate a life? How do we encapsulate and show people who he is? That is so hard and difficult. It seems impossible to do. How do we share with people who don't know him a personality who loved his dog Lola? It was a daunting task for them to pick the pictures that would be his legacy. Your verdict, though, will show his worth. It will show the value of who he is. To this defendant, he was worth less than a $1.41 fish sandwich or getting a point of the very last word. I will have the final say in this matter. What is the value of the loss of life for Jeff? Would he have found a friend, a lady who he would have married? I don't know. Would he have made partner at his law firm this year? We will never know. Those simple joys of life, of getting to hunt and fish with his friends, making memories with his family, going to concerts, music that he loves so much, what is that worth? What is it worth, the loss to his family, his friends, his co-workers? He stole him from their life. The neighbor ladies who he took care of at the apartment complex, his co-workers who still have an office set up in his memorial, and y'all, the plant that his partner is still taking care of, the plant that lives on today in Jason Powers' office. What is that worth? That loss. The loss to his dad, who doesn't have him for support, his nieces and nephews who don't have the fun uncle anymore. What about his friends who said he's their encourager, the man who motivates them to be the best that they can be, the leader of the group? What is that loss worth? After this trial is over, we are all going to go back to our regular lives. But this family and friends, they will forever have this void in their lives. His bright life and personality will forever be taken from them. And it's no loss on all of us that we're coming into the holiday season. He won't be sitting across the table from Peggy, his neighbor, for their dinner at Christmas time. He won't be at the Christmas party for the firm, enjoying the holidays with his co-workers. He won't be at the family Christmas gathering opening presents. And in Jennifer, his sister's words, it's devastating. Let that sink in. Devastating. Hangs over the entire event. In voir dire, I asked each and every one of you if you could consider life in the appropriate case. And some of you told me it would be uncomfortable, but you said you could do it. And you are here today in these seats at this time, at this moment, here today, because you promised you could do it in an appropriate case. I'm going to ask you and I'm going to hold you to your promise. I knew what you didn't know at that time. I already knew the facts of this horrific case. I already knew the irrational sense of act of violence. I already knew how dangerous he was. I already knew what a future danger he was. I already knew what a wonderful man Jeff Limmer was. I already knew all of these things when I asked you that. But now you get to do what no one else can do. The judge can't do it. His family can't do it. And I can't do it. And boy, do I wish I could be a part of this. But it is all up to each of you. And you folks have seen the cameras in the courtroom. It is no secret that this will be a message to our community. It is no secret. It is no secret that your verdict will be heard loud and clear across Harris County, Texas. And you are going to go back to your lives, and people are going to ask you, where have you been for a week? And you are going to be released from your oath to be silent during the process, and you're going to be able to tell them. And I want you to be able to tell them a verdict that you are proud of. I want you to be able to tell him, I heard the horrific story. I heard the horrific acts. I heard how terrible the defendant was. I heard how amazing Jeff Limmer was. And I did the right thing. I stood up when no one else could do it. I channeled Jeff Limmer. You will get to be the voice of what his life is worth. You will get to be the voice that protects our community. And only you can give justice and protect. And you can say, we, this jury, having found the defendant guilty of the felony offense of murder, hereby sentence you to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for life. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, attorneys. We'll now now retire to the jury room to consider your verdict.
All right, Senator.
All right, thank you. BCA will be in recess